Okay, sweet, welcome to the land of sweet and sour, your homeland. We're in Japan.
You gotta be kidding me. Are you serious?
Yeah, we're just outside Tokyo. This must be exciting for you.
We're in Japan. It's a land of sushi and Subaru.
Yeah, and you're
Not sweet and sour.
That's China?
Last name Chow.
You're Chinese? All these years. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we're a couple hours outside of Tokyo, and this is the future Olympic cycling park for the 2020 Games. Now, if anybody's going to put on an awesome Olympics, it's going to be the Japanese because they're so efficient. It's going to be awesome. So why are we here?
We get to test drive this 2019 Subaru Forester on the bicycle track.
Yeah, the roads are closed, so when the games are on, you'll see all the cyclists. We're riding on the same roads, or driving, I should say. So this is a brand new Forester. It's coming this fall.
All new global architecture.
Yeah, bigger, okay? So slightly longer, wider, just a tad shorter, but a longer wheelbase to give you more of everything, more Forester.
More everything, but you know what? They didn't want to ruin a good thing. The Forester's a big, important vehicle in their portfolio, and they don't want to drive people away. So all the changes look quite subtle, but they're looks more masculine.
I like the front of it. It's got sort of a more up and down front grille now. The headlamps are LED, that's standard, that's a good feature. And they have this sport model they had here today, which is coming to Canada. And it's dark wheels, dark grille, and the accent in orange. I think it looks really good.
It looks really hot. And then onto the side, of course it has body cladding, but it's a little more stylish now. In the back you have standard LED C-shaped tail lamps as well.
Now a big update is they made the power tailgate much faster. There's nothing worse than if you own a vehicle with a slow tailgate, right Brian?
Super slow.
And you're standing there with the bags and you're like, okay, any week now. So that's a big deal, and it's huge. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more. So all new Forester, we're in Japan, driving on the wrong side of the road.
Or the right side, whichever you want, however you want to say it.
Let's get in and we'll talk more about it.
All right.
Okay, do I get in it? No, the other side.
I know, it's weird.
Okay, I gotta tell you, sweet, this is so cool. So this area where we're driving around is a closed course, but it's a bicycle path. It's cool.
It's quite the racetrack for bicycles. Like, I would love to have like a motorcycle on this track.
Motorbike more than a cycle. That sounds like work. Yeah, so this is where the Olympic cycling events are gonna be held in just a couple of summers from now, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they got a little bit of work to do. Anyways, one thing that they really wanted to focus on the new Forester is comfort. And I think they've done a really good job.
Well, I've always said that the Forester, in my opinion, is the best, compact crossover for functionality. They had that nailed. Big windows, big doors, easy to get in, a great cargo area, but they needed to work on the refinement, and they have added more refinement. Right?
And certain things are small, but you know what? Sometimes you might not notice it until I tell you, or we tell you, like the touch points.
Tell us, Brian, tell us.
It's not just the touch points on the dash, because really, who touches the dash? It's where your body touches things, like on the armrests here, right? Much more padding.
And the center console, because I'm resting my knee here going around these twisty corners, and that's all soft touch materials too.
Comfort-wise, seats, they're bigger, they're wider, they have anti-fatigue foam in them as well.
That's one thing I want people to try when they test drive a car, whether it's this or anything else that they drive. The kind of foam that they use in the seats is so important. You get a good quality foam, it makes a huge difference to comfort.
Oh yeah, huge. You know, whether you're driving like spirited driving like this or just long trips. Now I think this is a really good family vehicle. In the back, they've cut out the area for where your feet go, getting to the back, so you have more room there. The step is larger, so you can go and load things up on the top, so you have a kayak or something like that.
I think it's better for little kids, you know, like you've got little girls jumping in, they need a bigger step there. It's so functional. Now the cargo area is quite a bit bigger, right?
You can put a golf bag in, straight on. There's no angling or anything. It's huge, and it's a big, huge square. Same as the rear doors as well. I can see having kids, little kids, they're not going to hit their head getting in. It's a really big opening now.
Like I said, people ask me all the time, what's the best utility for outward visibility? What's the best utility for getting in and out? You know, some older buyers want to be able to get in and out, like your dad or my dad, right?
Yeah.
So I always say, go and try a Forester. It really is nothing better for all of that stuff. They just made it better.
You know, so it is the ultimate utility vehicle. This is an SUV. Let's talk about the drive.
Okay, so the big news, no manual any longer.
Yep.
And no turbocharged. The XT is gone. Now, the manual I can see because there are very few people that actually buy that.
Less than 5%.
Okay, now, there was between 10 and 15% of people that did buy the turbo. It was less in the United States, and that really is what decides it for North America, to be honest with you. So they asked people, what are you looking for in this sort of class of vehicle? One thing was comfort, so they've addressed that and made it more comfortable for everybody. And the other one was, we want better fuel economy and maybe a little bit more power, and they've addressed all those things.
So new engine now.
Well, it is and it isn't. It's still a 2.5 liter.
Yes.
But they say 90% of the components have been revised. But the biggest change is adding direct injection, right? So you get more tip-in response from the throttle, and you're going to get better fuel economy.
Of course, no manual. You have a CVT. This is an updated CVT with a wider ratio now.
Yeah, 10% wider, which again is going to give you a better off-the-line response, and cruising on the highway is going to give you a sort of a longer gear for fuel economy. Now, we don't have the official fuel economy numbers yet because this is a long lead before anybody else gets a chance to drive it, and even the features haven't been nailed down exactly for the Canadian market, but they say fuel economy is going to be better. Now, output is greater too. It's got 184 horsepower, which is up 12 from the previous model, and 2 more pound-feet of torque. So it's not a big increase on any measure. It's just incremental changes to make a good vehicle already better.
Absolutely, and one of the biggest things is the new global architecture this is based on. And because of that, of course, it's more rigid, anywhere from like 40 to 100% more rigid, depending on what part of the vehicle. So everything works better, and it's a lot quieter.
Yeah, I noticed that. Now that's one of the things about, you know, a boxer engine and a CVT and isolating it from the road. They have done a great job with that. So much quieter, much more refined. Like we said, they asked people what they wanted, a little bit more refinement, and they've included all of that. But a big part of it is the size. So it's a little longer. It's certainly wider. We mentioned that, being able to get the golf bag in there, and the wheelbase has been increased by 33 millimeters. So that's going to appeal. You know, they never make cars smaller anymore, do they?
No, of course not. But they make them bigger and lighter and more powerful
and more efficient.
Exactly. So nothing wrong with that whatsoever. A little new change: the X mode now.
Yeah.
It has 2 modes. It's a 2-mode X mode.
So the X mode is sort of a low-speed traction and stability assist system, which optimizes those features for getting, you know, out of snow and mud. Now they have D, snow and mud, and D stands for deep. And it does the opposite. It switches the traction control off. If you've ever been stuck in snow, you want to take the traction control off and sort of, because sometimes you rock the car out of a snowbank. Well, now you have that, it does it automatically.
So they basically pre-programmed it so you don't have to do anything else. It's a one-touch thing.
Yeah. And the other thing is eyesight has been a big calling card for Subaru ever since it was introduced. And we don't know if it's going to be standard on every Forester, but if I was going to Vegas, I'd bet on it.
Well, another new thing on the Forester and on all Subarus is it has a special face recognition system.
This
now.
blew my mind. I was reading the stats on this last night, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I'll get to the safety part, but I want to talk about the convenience part first. So you get in, and it's got face recognition. It can tell, okay, Zach's driving or Brian's driving, and it'll set the seats and the mirrors to what I want, and when you get in, it'll change it to what you want.
The only thing it doesn't do yet, it does not do the stations for the radio.
Okay, yeah. And it can do up to 5 different drivers, so 5 members of your family. So that's the convenience part. Now, I've never heard of anything like that from any other brand, but the other part is, you know, you're getting drowsy. It will tell you, it'll warn you you're sort of getting drowsy or distracted driving.
Exactly. You know, it's like if you're looking away, if you're texting, which you should not be doing, it's going to beep, it's going to alert you, and it works in conjunction with the eyesight as well, so it can start preloading the brakes for you. It's a really good system, and it's standard on all Foresters.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like just getting in and it knows it's me and sets my seats. That's so cool.
I know. I really think they did a good job on this Forester, and you know, right now it's actually number 2 next to the Crosstrek. It used to be number 1, but it makes up 25 to 30% of all Subaru sales.
Oh, here's something. Did you know that Canada is the 3rd biggest market for Subaru in the world? I had no idea.
I heard that and I was like, really? Wow.
So I guess it would be probably the domestic or American market, the domestic market, and then Canada. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think when this new Forester comes out, though, it might probably take that top spot back from the Crosstrek, maybe.
Well, I don't know. They've also got the new Ascent, right? The 3-row utility that just came out. So, you know, I'll just tell you one thing. Whether it's number 1 or number 2, it doesn't really matter. Everything Subaru, everything is selling. People have really gravitated towards this brand. They're doing a lot of things right. But what do we need in Canada for winter?
All-wheel drive.
That's their whole brand. They basically built the whole brand around all-wheel drive. And every single utility they sell has 220 millimeters of ground clearance. You've got things like the X mode. You've got the advanced safety features. And Canadians are kind of a practical bunch, right? And this is practical.
And Subaru really has been listening to the customer. They wanted more comfort, they wanted more refinement, and they've done it with this.
Yeah. And what do you think of the looks?
I think it looks good. It looks actually very big for the compact SUV class.
Yeah, and they have this sport model we're driving that has like the blacked out grille and the orange accents and stuff and the black wheels or the gray wheels. That's pretty boss.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty smart.
You know, the one thing I always talk about, Sweet, with car brands is car brands have momentum, right? And Subaru over the last, say, 5-10 years has had major momentum.
Huge
The
momentum.
sales keep growing every year, and they have a trifecta of new SUVs. Crosstrek came out about a year ago, Ascent, and now updated Forester.
Yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see if this takes the top spot from the Crosstrek.
Yeah, you know what? It's a bunch of small changes. You're right. You have to point them out to see what they are, but when you put them all together, a way better car.
So what'd you think about Japan? This has been a great trip.
I love the food, I love the people, and it's just so clean. If you want to come somewhere in Asia that is spotless, come to Japan, you're going to like it. So there you go, that's another edition of
Sweet and Sour.
Or teriyaki and miso. Not the same ring, does it? Okay, who's miso? Who's teriyaki?
I'm teriyaki because I'm sweet. Miso's salty.
Okay. That's good.
If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more everyday reviews, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.